The month of November, the weather starting to turn colder, the pitches starting to get heavier, and every single point starting to feel that little bit bigger. A month short in terms of fixtures, but not short on importance. We had 2 home league fixtures at Meadow Park and a League Cup tie against the high-flying Threave Rovers, who now play in the West of Scotland Football League 2nd Division. And they were undefeated in their league campaign to date, and this game that would deliver plenty of drama for the supporters. And with a free weekend later in the month, a bounce game against Greenock Juniors gave valuable minutes to those pushing for more game time, because we knew over a long season every player mattered, and keeping everyone's match fitness as sharp as possible could and would prove vital as the league run on. The mission for November was simple: 6 points from 6th in the league, and if the cup run continued, that would be an added bonus. After all, the standards had been set, and winning was one of them, and it was beginning to become a habit. First up in the league was Neilston, newly promoted, and they'd got off to a decent start to their campaign. After 9 games, they sat in 6th place on 15 points. We knew a challenge lay ahead. Goals-wise, they'd already scored 21, but they'd also conceded 21. So this game had the potential to be a goal fest, as Meda also had scored 21 goals in the league so far. The game kicked off under the Meadow autumn sunshine, with a strong breeze sweeping across the park. And from the first whistle, it was end-to-end stuff. 2 sides going for it. No sitting in, no waiting around. But it was Neilston who struck first. 11 minutes in, Meda turned the ball over, and a fast break saw Wilson finding the net, beating Barkley down low at his near post. 1-0, Neilston. On 15 minutes, a long ball forward saw McNabb rise highest to flick it on. And before anyone else could react, he had reacted himself, and he was onto his own header. 1 touch, Barkley rushing out, and McNabb calmly lifted it over the advancing keeper. 2-0 Neilston. Frustration beginning to rumble around Meadow Park. 2 down at home, inside 15 minutes. Simply not good enough. But if this season had taught us anything already, it was this. This Meda side were never beaten until that final whistle blew. The reaction demanded by Jamie McKim off the sidelines was immediate. Meda started to settle, started getting the ball down and dictating the game. The chances started coming. We were just missing that final killer touch. Then came the breakthrough. Some great composed football played right through the lines. Keig slipped in behind, the keeper comes rushing out, contact made, and the referee had no hesitations. Penalty, Meda. Just 5 minutes after going 2-0 down. A lifeline. Up steps Jojo Gillespie. Calm, confident. Dispatched from 12 yards. 2-1, and it was game on. And with only 12 minutes played, you could feel the momentum shifting. Chance after chance, but no second goal was earned by the boys in blue. And that is how the half ended. But there was another factor in play. So far this season, I'd noticed Meda had looked stronger playing into the wind versus playing with the backs to it. And in the second half, that's exactly what was coming. The second half kicked off, and early, a long, hopeful ball forward dropped kindly for McNabb once again. He wins the foot race with the defender, rounds the advancing Barkley and, keeping his composure, cuts back inside before rolling the ball into the empty net. 3-1 Neilston. Not the start and not the reaction the gaffer wanted from his side coming out for the second half. 5 minutes played and suddenly Meda had a mountain to climb yet again. Neilson once again had that 2-goal cushion. With plenty time still on the clock, Meda didn't panic and continued to play their game. A brilliantly worked set piece gave Meda a lifeline. Super sub Curra rising highest at the back post, nodding home Meda's second. 3-2, and suddenly you could feel it again. That belief, that we're never beaten attitude this side had shown a few times so far this season. Then, less than 10 minutes later, some magic. Craig standing over a free kick from around 25 yards out. He strikes it cleanly up and over the wall. The ball kissing the side net and beyond the keeper's right-hand reach. 3-3. Meda were level and Meda Park was alive once again. This team wasn't finished, not even close. Less than 6 minutes later, Meda working relentlessly across the park to win the ball back every time we turned it over. And this time, Craig driving forward once again with perfect timing. Curra bursting into the box, and the cross from Craig falls straight into his path. One touch, goal number 4 for Meda, and the second for the super sub. For the first time in the match, Meda had the lead. As the clock ticked down, Neilson threw everything at it, but Meda stood firm, disciplined, committed, and still carrying a threat every single time they broke forward. The players off the bench once again making their impact, keeping the intensity high, driving the team on. Then on 88 minutes, the killer blow. A long ball over the top from Lyle Holding sent Jordan Baird racing through. One-on-one with the defender, some quick feet, some sharp movements, and he swiftly moved to his left-hand side, creating space, followed by a type of finish he'd worked on relentlessly on the training ground, as we then saw him curl the ball beautifully into the far side netting across their keeper. 5-3 Meda, game over. November had begun, and it began with drama. Character, tested. Determination, tested. Teammates, tested. The squad, tested. And one by one, every test aced. 3 more points on the board, 5 more goals scored. A comeback full of belief, and another reminder that this Meda side never knew when they were beaten. But inside the celebrations, there was still honesty. Too many sloppy starts, too many early goals conceded, going behind again and again. This needed addressed because the standards inside that dressing room hadn't changed. Winning mattered, but improving mattered too. so it was back to the training ground before we faced Thornywood at home in the league the following Saturday. Next up, Thornywood United at Meadow Park. Coming into November, they found themselves sitting 5th in the table with 5 wins, a draw and 3 defeats under their belt. A side very capable of causing problems for anyone on their day, and Meadow knew exactly what to expect. Another battle, another tough afternoon at the office. Throughout the week, training had one clear focus: fast starts, high intensity with and without the ball, and come game day, it paid off. Inside the opening 20 minutes, Meadow found themselves 2 goals to the good. Aaron Miller opening the scoring after relentless team pressure, not allowing Thornywood a second to settle, winning second balls, closing spaces, walking back with the same intensity shown going forward. The standards set in training were now showing themselves on match day. Jojo Gillespie added the second, and at the other end, a disciplined defensive display was backing it all up. No panic, no sloppiness, just control. Two 0 Meadow at the break. Inside the changing room at the break, the gaffer's message was simple but stern. Don't take the foot off the pedal. A good 45, yes, but keep the standards high, keep doing the hard work, and above all else, walk back into this changing room with that clean sheet intact when the final whistle blows. The bench once again played its part in the second half. Standards staying high, intensity never dropping, and then came the third. Great pressure from Meadow forced a turnover before a superb forward pass from Anderson released Craig down the right-hand side. His first time cross into the danger area and arriving perfectly at the top of the box, Ewan Baird. One strike, net rattled. 3-0 Meadow. 78 minutes played and the 3 points were staying at Meadow Park. Sadly, the clean sheet wouldn't survive. 89 minutes on the clock, a free kick drilled dangerously towards the front post. Ali Miller gets the touch and directs it beyond Barkley. 3-1, a late sucker punch. Full time, Evan Meadow 3, Thornywood United 1. 3 more points, mission complete. 6 points from 6 in the league. The only frustration, not seeing the clean sheet through to the end. But inside that dressing room, that wasn't ignored. It became something to work on, another standard to chase because this group always wanted more. Next up, it was cup action. A welcome distraction from the pressures of the league. And another chance for this Meadow side to keep building momentum. The Strathclyde Demolition West of Scotland League Cup round 2 finished off competitive football for the month of November. 1-1 after 90 minutes, coming from behind to 4 spot kicks. 3 great saves from Jamie Barkley in the shootout saw us progress to round 3. November complete. League-wise, 6 points from 6. 8 further goals scored and by 5 different players. A squad that was really contributing from all areas of the pitch. And with 28 points now on the board, Meda sat top of the table, looking down on everyone else. A target firmly placed on our backs, because results were starting to say it loud and clear. This Meda side were becoming the team to beat. But nothing is won in November. The real graft still lay ahead. Long nights, big games, pressure moments. Still, the foundations were settling nicely, and this team was starting to build something real. Up next in December, those darker nights, the weather getting even further colder, and every game carrying a little more weight. First up in November, it would be the third round of the Cup at home to Cumbernauld United. Then 2 massive league fixtures. Up first was one of the league favourites, Gartcairn at Meadow Park, followed by a trip to James McGrory Park to face the Candy, another side who, like Meda and Gartcairn, had started the season strongly in the title race. November would bring big games, big pressure, and big moments ahead. With winter now truly setting in, the season was only going to get tougher.